America's word?
Class. Eugenics. We're still dealing with that garbage too. Those individuals are given a voice that they never had before. And the people who were actually the quasi-left have been moved to a place where they're not even considered the left here in this country. They're considered like, oh, that's so far left that it exists outside the sphere. But the deep state is not a Democratic or Republican entity. The deep state, if you want to have a discussion about this, is not a Democrat left, not a Republican right entity. It relies on resources. There's a movie called Network where they discuss communist Russia, and you think these people, and the guy says, you think they argue about Mao and Lenin in these meetings? No, they get out linear charts and they discuss what resources they're going to take from different places, because the USSR is a country, an empire, much like America. So what are we discussing, right? What is the deep state's concern? The deep state's concern is that we're all a bunch of talking monkeys that are trapped on a floating rock in space, and these resources are going to run out, and we need to have them more than anybody else. And the next war is going to be over the Arctic and Antarctica when those resources become more available. And constantly and consistently, this is proven right. Now, whereas it comes to the scare tactics of communism, communism made a reemergence. And I would argue it's not so much social or socialist principles that I discuss in my music, but rather those that are interpreted so by socialists because they are the original basis of what human beings live like in an indigenous world. For example, sister, we indigenous, Latino, whatever you want to call us, and African people, with all due respect to Karl Marx and Engels, we didn't need a white European man in the 1850s to come to the dark jungles of Latin America and Africa and explain the complex concept of sharing. We knew that collectivism for thousands of years. That's why we stayed alive. That's how we flourished in a society and a place that was ungovernable to nature for most people when they came here, because they were dropping like flies.
That is a major freaking point right there. Like, yesterday I mentioned that I was watching that show, The Last of Us, and how like it's the end of the world, and then it's like the people who were living the best were living in a compound that was what people today would call like socialism, communism, or whatever. And Immortal Technique is making the point that Marxism existed before Marx was born, or before the phrase came up, or the idea, the word communism or socialism, before the word was a word, people were already doing this. That's what's really interesting to me about philosophy in a lot of situations, is that, it's really cool. I love philosophy because it puts these things into words so that you can discuss them, and try to understand them better. But these people who do these things don't need that word. You know what I mean? They don't need definitions of it, how you survive, how humans survive. We're community animals, and that's how we survive. That's how we make it with each other, and it's real simple, but we complicate things and give everything these labels, and then we get totally brainwashed because, you have these ideas that are put in our head that lead us to behave in a way that actually goes against our actual nature. Our altruism, sharing, helping, caring for others. But instead, we're geared in this direction of hoarding resources, all for self, look for self, just keep your head down, just look out for yourself and your family and friends, and try to get through this thing, you know. And I think that, you know, we pretty much if we're going crazy, we're going insane, and we don't understand these concepts at all. But when when the stuff hits the fan, when things get really crazy, we automatically just revert back to these things because it's our natural way to survive. We can't make it without each other. And I don't care who you are, where you are, how much money you make. You need other people. You need other people. You know, you can't do it all by yourself. You can't do it on your own. You can't survive on your own. Why is it like the idea of like living on a deserted island, you know, sounds so scary, you know? Would you survive? Would you actually really truly survive on a deserted island? You know, some of us maybe we're capable, but would we be mentally sound? You know, will we not go crazy? What was the movie Castaway? Big popular movie. The dude made like a doll or a pumpkin. I can't remember the movie. It's a long time. But and he would talk to that thing like it was a person, you know, to try to keep his sanity. We need other people.